if you'll notice on your screen, you may have already minimized it, but you have a little dashboard there. And if you look up in the upper left-hand corner, there's a little red box with a white arrow in it. You can click on that and minimize that so you can see the whole screen. And we're going to go for about 40 minutes. I'm going to keep it brief and moving along. And so what I'll do is I'll keep the question and answer session, I'll keep that at the end. Unless I see something that pops up and I need to address that immediately. But we're going to go forward and get started with this webinar. It looks like we're a couple minutes into it, so we'll let the stragglers log in while we get going. So first and foremost, I'm going to pose a question, and I'm also going to be posing questions throughout the webinar. And I'll be looking at your answers and just kind of gauging, what everyone's doing out there, and sort of hopefully tailoring my my presentation toward your needs. And at the end, hopefully you'll feel that this was a great use of your time. So we'll get started. I'm going to start with a question, and that question simply is, if you take 1,000 homes, and this could be anywhere, your neighborhood, anywhere in California, or really anywhere in the United States, if you took that 1,000 homes and you watched those 1,000 homes for the next 12 months, how many of those homes do you think will go to market in the next 12 months, or what percentage? And I'll give you a chance to just kind of, in your mind, I've got somebody says 100, I've got somebody says 30, 200, 5, 15%, 6%. Great, so I appreciate the answers. But on average, and this is a group of brokers that put together this information, they found that if you took 1,000 homes anywhere in the United States and you watched them over a 12-month period, that the percent of homes that would go to market, or the number of homes that go to market, would be about 3%. Some would say 2%, some might say 4%, so we're talking anywhere from 20 to 40 homes. Now, here's the challenge. As a realtor, you've got 1,000 homes, a farm that you're watching, and your job is to find those, or your challenge, or your job, however you want to look at it, is to find that 3% of those 30 homes over the in that 1,000 that will go to market over the next 12 months. And, of course, we know there's 3 traditional ways to go about finding those homes that will go to market. But what does that mean? Obviously, if 30 of those homes are going to go to market, 970 will not. And so you're spending a lot of your time at doors where nothing's going to happen. And, you can spend hours and hours and days and a month, looking for those 30 homes that are going to go to market. So how do you find them? Well, traditionally, we've got 3 ways of finding those homes. You can, get on the phone and call all 1,000 homes. It might take a while. But if you called all 1,000 homes, that'd be pretty thorough. You can send out flyers. A little expensive, especially when you're sending them to homes where, most of those homes, 970, nothing's going to happen. So that flyer is going to go to a home. It's going to sit on the porch with everybody else's flyer, and you've just spent, anywhere from, 50, 70 cents on a flyer that went nowhere. That's a lot of money to spend on something that goes nowhere. And then, of course, you can go door knocking. And if you're I love door knocking, but this guy obviously does not. So, it can be challenging. Door knocking's hard. I mean, we get out there during the day, and most people aren't home, so you're knocking on doors. Only have to do your, I call it a loop back, where at 5 o'clock, I kind of go back to the homes that didn't answer, nobody was home. And, chances are they may still not be home. It's, California, they may not get home till 6, 7 o'clock at night. Do you really want to be door knocking at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, interrupting people's dinner time? No, it's hard. So all of these are challenging. The phone, getting on the phone, sending the flyers, expensive. Door knocking takes a lot of time. It's going to be getting hot out, especially I'm in Los Angeles County, and we call it the Valley, the San Fernando Valley. It's going to get 100 degrees, this summer for days on end. And who wants to be door knocking, 100-degree weather? So moving on. So we know the challenges now. So time and effort required to find 30 out of 1,000 homes that were going to go to market. Cost of mailers, I said say, between 50 and 70 cents. Say you said 70 cents and you want to market to 1,000 homes, obviously $700, quick little math. 50 calls a day. If I did 50 calls a day and I knocked 50 doors a day, that would be a great day. If I did that for a whole month, that would be amazing. It would take me 20 days to reach all 1,000 homes. making 50 calls a day and knocking 50 doors a day. If I knocked 50 doors a day, I made 50 calls a day for 20 days, I'd pat myself on the back. I'd reward myself somehow, okay? So 1 month's worth of work, basically, right? 21 business days on average in a month. 1 month's worth of work to find, and $700 out of your pocket to find 30 homes that will go to market over the next 12 months. Well, that's just doing it the old-fashioned way. Nowadays, we know that we have data at our grasp, and everyone's using data. You know, whether you're on Facebook and there's ads that pop up based on where you've done searches, you know, Amazon. I was looking at running shoes on Amazon. Now everything I, you know, bring up on the internet shows me a pair of Nike running shoes. So, and I bought a couple pair yesterday, so, but the ads are still going to pop up. I know it. So anyway, data's everywhere. We might as well use it to help make our jobs easier, and hence we have what's called ReboGateway, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today, a tool that will help you find those homes that are more likely to go to market than others. And ReboGateway is a tool that will help you do that. And what it does, in a nutshell, is it takes real data from public records, and it matches those public records, or what we call those life events, with actual properties so that we know which properties are more likely to go to market. It's been shown and tested that there are certain events that will happen in a household that will trigger that house to go to market. And we're going to look at a couple of those right now. I'm just looking at a question right here. For door knocking, is there a specific question we can ask without taking too much of their time? And, you know, we'll talk about it a little bit. I appreciate that, Henry. And maybe some of you, if you want to answer his question, I'd be happy to read your answers. He's looking for something you can, you know, knock on a door and you can say a quick little sentence, I'm assuming, where you're not taking too much of the owner's time, but kind of getting your point across, or your, you know, what you're looking for. So anyway, I know I said I'd take questions at the end. Sorry, it was just too tempting to answer that question. So what are these life events? These life events include things like divorce, probate, eviction filings, tax mortgage defaults, tax liens, for sale by owner, even for lease by owner. You know, somebody's got a property and they're tired of being a landlord, and maybe they've gone through an eviction process, and this is the third one on this property, and they're saying, you know what, I'm tired of it. I want to get rid of it. Estate sales. Why estate sales? Because typically if a house is in trust, we know that the heirs chances are they're not going to move into it. They've got their own homes. They're living, you know, somewhere else, another state, whatever. The children are not going to move into that house. What are they going to do? They're going to have an estate sale, and they're going to put that house on the market. So estate sales are really good things to watch. ReboGateway actually tracks estate sales. So what ReboGateway does is, by giving you these life events and these public notices, it gives you more of a chance to find a listing. In fact, if we look at this little funnel here, you look at the bottom, traditional farming, again, 3%, right, over the next 12 months. Now all of a sudden there's a house in probate, and there's a 19% chance that house is going to go to market over the next 12 months. A divorce filing, 22% chance that house will be on the market in the next 12 months. For sale by owner, 27%. So, you know, don't get down when you see a for sale by owner sign in the yard. You know that there's a 27% chance, almost a 1/3 chance that house is they're going to retain an agent over the next 12 months. It might as well be you. And then, of course, you know, mortgage default, 52% chance. So 1 out of every 2 homes with a mortgage default is going to go to market. And so anyway, ReboGateway grabs all of these public records on a daily basis and allows you to do a search in your neighborhood, in your zip code, in your city, in your county for these homes that are more likely to go to market, hence giving you a 5 to 10 times better chance of finding a listing, which sounds good to me. Okay, so this is, in a nutshell, what ReboGateway looks like, and I'm going to walk you through it. So I'm actually going to give you a live demo, so it's not just a static presentation. I'm really going all the way on this webinar today, so you're lucking out. You're getting the best of me, the best of my presentation. Anyway, I'm moving on. So here's what the screen looks like. So you'll see that you can do a number of different searches. Hopefully you can see my arrow here. So I can either do a county search, I can do a radius search based on an address, a zip code, you name it, and you can see here they've done a radius search. If you look up to the right here, you can see that the radius is 3.623 miles. So I can take this pin, this little green pin, I can drag it as far as I want or narrow it as far as I want based on how big a circumference I want to cover, or how big an area, I should say, I want to cover. I can also do a boundary search. This boundary search will allow me to drop pins to make my search specific to what I'm looking for. So if I wanted to, say to the right of this little circle here, I could drop a pin on this corner, I could go down to this corner, drop a pin, and I could basically cover this whole area. And I'm going to show you how to do a search on every property in that area doing a boundary search. So 3 different types of searches: county, radius, boundary. Once I've determined what type of search I'm going to do, then I'm going to go to my lead type. And you can see all the different lead types here: divorce, empty nester. This is an interesting one. An empty nester is any home that's been owned by the same owners for 20 or more years with 3 or more bedrooms. The thinking being that they've had kids moved out, maybe they're looking to downsize or maybe move, who knows what. So empty nester is a good one. Estate sales, I mentioned why. Evictions, obvious. Expireds, for lease by owner, for sale by owner, just listed. I want to know what's going on in the neighborhood, or I want people to know, hey, this house down the street from you was just listed. Curious as to what your house might be worth. Just sold, there's activity in the neighborhood. I want to know. I want to go around the neighbors. Hey, your neighbor just sold their house. Again, are you curious as to what yours might be worth? And then all the way down, I mean, sure, you can see these, and they're pretty self-explanatory. This one, NOO out of state, obviously non-owner occupied out of state. Maybe they were relocated. They've got a house that they've been renting, and they want to, again, it's time to sell, and they're ready to not be out of state owners. Notice the sale. Peak purchase. This is any home that was purchased at the peak of the market, and they're defining that as 2005, 2006, 2007. We see a ton of activity with these homes that were purchased in that 3-year span. So that's a great one to watch, a really good one to watch. Probate, tax defaults, and so on. So now, once I've selected my type of search, I've selected my lead type, divorce, then I'm going to select my date range. And I can go as far back as I want. And some of these, you're going to want to go farther back than others. For instance, if I'm doing an estate sale, I know that it's going to happen fast. You're going to have an estate sale. I'm going to show you in a second an example of a result where there was an estate sale, and 1 month later that house was on the market. So estate sales, I may only want to go back 3 months, okay? If it's a notice of default, I might want to go back 6 months, maybe 8 months. Nowadays, homes are going into default, and the owners are living in them, knowing that, perhaps their credit's shot. They're going to need a big chunk of money saved up to put a down payment on an apartment or whatnot, or deposit on an apartment. So you might want to go back further on that. Maybe a divorce filing, I don't know, 6 months. It takes time to, unfortunately figure out what to do with, the property, the children, all that. So, and then the neat thing is, once I've taken that, of course, if I'm going back, some of these properties might be on the market. I'm going to show you how, by going over to this little filter, I can omit properties that are already on the MLS, because there's no sense in marketing something that's already on the MLS. So it's pretty easy, and then I just do search, and you can see here, down below, this example shows a search from October 2013 to October 2014, and this is divorce filings for that time frame in that radius search of 3.623 miles, and you can see that there are 151 records that show up. And so I'm going to show you what you can do with those records. You can download them to an Excel spreadsheet. I'll show you how to do that. Upload those to an Avery label template, so that now you're only mailing to these 151 homes where there's a live event, versus what? There's probably 10,000 homes in this area, which would cost an arm and a leg to mail to. So now my mailers are targeted, and I'm working a lot smarter. All righty, let's move on. So here's an example of a result. So I did a search. Let me go back a second. So here's all my results down below, okay? And if I were to take this little scroll bar, and I'll show you this when I do the live demo, I could take a look at each one of these results. And here, if I clicked on one, here's what you get. So here's a life event. It's a divorce filing that happened in November 2013, and the property was listed June 12, 2014. So again, this took a few months. It took, what, 7 months to go to market? So again, I may want to go back a little farther for divorce filings and not so far for things like estate sales. Here we go, estate sale. So here's an example. Estate sale happened on March 8, 2014, and exactly a month later that property was listed. So again, I may not want to go back as far with estate sales. Notice the default. Filed July 9th, and then the property was listed September 5th, so just a few months later. And again, like I said, you can do a filter and omit any property that's already on the MLS. I've got somebody saying they don't see the presentation. I'm just going to stop and say that, again, if you're coming in late, this is being recorded, and obviously if you posted a question, that means you've registered. That means you also will be getting an email this afternoon with a link to the recording. So try logging in again. If it doesn't work, not to worry. You'll get a link to the recording. I'm going to stop real quick because somebody's and answer a question. Somebody's asking about phone numbers provided. ReboGateway, I would say, gives you about, from all the results, about 20%, 20 to 25% of those will have phone numbers. Now, the great thing is, again, with your filter, I can say, show me only results with phone numbers so that, you know, I'm not wasting my time with properties where I can't call on them. And some people might not be into calling. Some people might be into door knocking, and phone numbers might not, you know, be that necessary for them. Moving on, I see another question, but I'm sorry, I'm going to hold you till the end. So here's, if I open up one of these results, here's what you get. So this first circle, I'm going to go down from this top circle down to the bottom circle. The first circle tells you if there's an agent at that address. So if there's mail going to an agent at that address, whether they're a renter, whether they're an owner, it'll let you know so that you can determine whether or not you want to market to that property. Next, this next arrow shows you what type of life event. In this case, this red flag indicates a notice of default, so you know exactly what type of life event you're working with. And then the phone numbers, this will tell you if there's a phone number, this little symbol right here. And then also, these numbers are scrubbed against the do not call list. So you can see here DNC for the do not call list. And then we also have scripts from Debbie DeGroat. So for the person asked earlier about what to say, scripts are provided. And then just a note, you know, with a lot of these life events, you know, obviously empty nester, peak purchase, you know, a lot of these things are not, you know, unfortunate life events, but some of them are. And so, of course, we want to be careful when we're knocking at a door or making a phone call. And just my little suggestion, what do I say when I'm knocking at a door where I know there's been a notice of default or a divorce filing? I don't say anything different than a door, any other door. I knock on the door, hey, hi, my name's Tom Reitman. I'm in the neighborhood. You know, this is a great neighborhood. I think I could find some buyers, you know, for this neighborhood. You know, have you thought about putting your house in the market? That's it. You don't want to weird them out by going, hey, I noticed that y'all filed for divorce. I mean, that would be weird. So anyway, moving on. So we've got that script against do not call list, the scripts from Debbie DeGroat, and then also it gives you all the MLS information right there, so you have everything you need to intelligently knock on this door and make a phone call. All righty. This is one of the really great strengths of ReboGateway. So with ReboGateway, you can set up as many farms as you want. I could set up farms to cover a whole county, and I could just blanket that whole county or that, excuse me, that whole city or that whole zip code with farms. Make as many farms as I want. Now, here's the key. The farms have to be 1,000 homes or smaller. So that's where I would do my boundary search. Remember I said you could drop pins and create your own custom boundaries? So I would create a boundary of 1,000 homes. The system would look at all those 1,000 homes and give me all the information, and I can create a farm. Now, with your, you know, if you sign up for ReboGateway, you can actually watch 8 farms at a time. So what you've got here is an email notification. And once you set up your farms and you've got selected, you clicked on the 8 farms that you want the system to watch, you'll get an email notification each day, and it'll have all your farms in there. Farm number 1, you'll see, whether there's a notice of default or whether there's a divorce filing. So in each one of your farms, the system will tell you if anything has happened in the last 24 hours. Again, information is pulled. These records are pulled on a daily basis, so the information is fresh. Now, you might get an email 3 days in a row at the same property, so it's not going to, if you miss a day of looking at your notifications, hopefully that notification will be in the next day's email as well. So you get a couple days on it, so hopefully you won't miss, one of these life events in one of your farms. So I've told you can set up as many farms you want. You can watch 8 at a time. The neat thing is I can change those 8 on the fly anytime I want. I could watch all 8 farms for a month and then switch them over. I can watch another 8 farms, after that. Or I could say, you know what, I've got these 8 farms. I've got 5 that are really producing, really active. But I've got these 3 that really haven't turned up anything in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to deactivate those farms and activate 3 more, hoping that those will be big producers for me as well. So these email notifications are huge because you get in the office in the morning. I get mine in the morning, so I've got some mock farms set up, and so I get my email notification in the morning. As a realtor, I can come in, I go, you know what? I don't have to think about, oh, do I want to make phone calls? Do I want to knock doors? Do I want to, spend money on flyers? I've got these notifications, and I've got a place to start each and every day. So that's a neat thing about, being able to get in the office. Sometimes it's hard being, a salesperson. It's hard to know where to start. So this gives you a starting point. So moving on, we're going to take this thing for a spin. I told you I'd give you a live demo, so I'm going to do that for you right now. So this is ReboGateway. I've selected LA. So you get one county and the ability to watch 8 farms. You can see it's got counties all over here. I've got a mock account, so I've got every county in the state. I'm going to stick with Los Angeles. And I'm going to start by showing you how to do a search. Again, I can do a county search, so I could do this whole county and show me all the notice of default in the whole county. That's quite a bit, especially if you know how big LA County is. I could do a radius search. If I want to do a radius search, I can do a whole address, or I could just do a zip code. We'll do a little famous one, 90210. Submit. And you'll see that, and I'm going to back out here. If you can see this little plus or minus, obviously that means, zoom in or zoom out. I'm going to zoom out here, and you'll see that it defaults to a 0.5 mile radius, so half a mile, obviously a mile in diameter. And as I mentioned, I can take this, I'm just clicking on my mouse here, I can drag this and make this as big as I want, as small as I want. And so once I've got to the size I want, so I've got a 1.5 mile radius, 3 miles across, then I can select my lead type. And, there's a couple new ones. Affidavit of death is actually a new one, and bankruptcy is a new one. So these are 2 new lead types that have been added recently. I'm going to we'll go to divorce filings. And now it shows me the date range. And just for time's sake, I'm going to go back 1 year. So all I'm doing is just, clicking on that. And then if I wanted to, I could go into my filters. And I always suggest hitting reset on your filters. So I'm going to reset my filters. Sometimes the system will remember a search that you did, and they'll keep the filters in there. So I've reset my filters. And in here, this is where you're going to see omit properties on the do not call list. Well, I don't really want to be marketing to a property that's already on the do not call list if I'm making phone calls, if that's important to me. Or I want ones with just phone numbers. Or I want ones with phone numbers that aren't on the do not call list. So I can go in here and filter my results. I can say, don't show me properties that are on the MLS. Okay? Don't show me records that are owned by a real estate agent. I can also, so this will pull up every property that you can purchase with a conventional loan, but you know what? I'm really not interested in 2 to 4 units. I'll take condos and single-family residences. So once I've done that, I'm going to hit Save My Criteria, and I'm going to hit Submit. And now what it's doing is it's looking for all those properties in that area. So in the last year, there have been 10 divorce filings in this area. And so now I can go down. Now this is really interesting. Typically 1 out of every 25 divorce filings, I'll see a notice of default. And here's a property where these people need help. This is somebody I would call on today because, you know, they're in a tight situation. They filed for divorce. There's a notice of default on their property. They need a hero to knock on their door and say, hey, you know, I've got in the neighborhood, my name is Tom Reitman. You know, have you ever wondered what your house might be worth? There's, you know, your neighbor sold down the street recently. They got this much for their house, you know, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, this is somebody who needs some help. So I can take these records, and remember I mentioned you can download them into an Excel spreadsheet. I'll show you how to do that. But what's really also neat is I mentioned you can upload them to an Avery label template. So again, let me close this real quick. There are probably, remember, this is 3 miles in diameter. So there are a lot of houses in this area. And I could send mailers to every single property in this area, which would cost an arm and a leg. Or again, I can click on my Rebo Marketing, go into my Avery labels. This is the most common template right here. Click on that. And what it's going to do is it's going to populate that template with those addresses. And if you look down here, there's a little PDF document that it produced. If I click on that, it'll bring that document up, and you'll be able to see that it'll populate that that template with all those addresses. And it's taken a second to think here. So it's basically loading it, and I think because I clicked it twice, it might bring up 2 results. But anyway, so here's what my template looks like. I put my Avery label sheet in the printer, and I print my labels, and now I'm only mailing to 10 addresses versus, you know, 10,000. So it saves me a lot of money there. Again, I mentioned you could download these results into an Excel spreadsheet. So here's what I would do. I would go into my data export. I can either do a CSV file or I can do an Excel spreadsheet. And if I clicked on that, and this is quite a bit of information, so this takes a second. So it's exported. So here's my little document down here in an Excel spreadsheet. If I click on that, it'll bring up my Excel spreadsheet, and it's going to populate it with everything you need. There's quite a lot of information that goes in here. So it might be something where, you know, I'm going to create this Excel spreadsheet because I want to knock on doors, or I want to take this Excel spreadsheet, and maybe I use Salesforce, and I want to upload this into my CRM. So really good for uploading contacts into your CRM. And this is taking a second because, oh, you know what? It actually, see if I can move this over. It brought it up in my other window, so I'm going to, it's not letting me. Sorry. It brought this up on my other screen, but anyway, it worked, trust me. I'm going to try and slide this over one more time if I can. Oh, it's not letting me. Okay. Anyway, it did bring it up, and you're trying to find blah, blah, blah. No. Sorry, I'm just determined to do this. And it won't let me. Anyway, we'll move on. But while I'm here, something very important. You'll notice there's a green training tab here, and there's a lot of great webinars that you can watch on training on all this. So if you didn't get it and you sign up for it, just know that you can do the training webinar as well. Now, I'm going to do a boundary search, and I'm going to show you how to create a farm. I want to, so I'm in West Hollywood. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because, you know, remember I said the farms have to be 10,000 homes or smaller. That's not a huge area, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here to where I feel like I've got about 1,000 homes. So I'm just going to pick this area. Now all I'm doing is clicking on my mouse, and I'm doing my boundary search, remember. So I'm going to click here. Notice it drops an A. That's my starting point. I'm going to go down here, I'm going to click on that corner, go over to here, and I think you can drop about 8 pins, so it doesn't have to be, you know, a polygon. And so once I've got that, now you can see it's highlighted that area. I can go here, and I go into my farm utility, okay, under my lead types, and what that's going to do is that's going to allow me to do my search. And once I do my farm utility and I hit search, now I'm creating a farm. Now you notice I haven't picked a lead type because I'm creating a farm. And you'll see here that there's 655 homes in this area. Now it's only showing me the first 10. That's why you've only got a few arrows here. I'm going to click on this. I want to see the first 100. So now it's grabbing the first 100. It's expanded my results. You see the first 100. Those dots represent the first 100 of those 655 homes. Obviously, I could go to page 2 and see the next 100. And if I clicked on the second one, it would give me a different set of pins. And so now, and so you see my results are in this area here. And because I've got less than 1,000 homes, I can actually save this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to create a farm, and you'll see that once you'll see all the farms I've created. So these are all the farms I've created. Remember, I said, sorry. Remember, that's how you actually pronounce that word. Remember, I said you can create as many farms you want. So I've created farms in different ways. Like this one's just Hollywood, Santa Monica, Malibu. But then I've also got. Sorry, I have my glasses on, so I'm going to lean in here real quick. I've got my, where is it, Beverly Hills. So I've divided Beverly Hills by price range. Here I've got my $1 million to $1.5 million homes, my $1.5 million to $2 million homes, my $2 million to $3 million homes, and my $3 million on up. You can see that there's quite a few in here. So I could not have just done all of Beverly Hills. Or I could have taken the time to create one farm next to another. So I could have created a farm here, then taken the time to create a farm here, then take a time to, you know, create a farm down here, which is obviously time consuming. Or I can break it up into property values, which it took me, you know, probably 2 minutes to create these 3 farms based on property values. So a lot quicker sometimes to create a farm based on property values in a city versus, you know, an area. So I'm going to call this farm, I think I've got one called West Hollywood. Let me just use an abbreviation, WH, and I'll just call this 2 just in case I have another WH already set up. And I'm going to hit Save Farm. And what this is doing is it's taking that farm, and you can say you can, and it's basically taking all those properties, create a farm out of it, and that was pretty quick. It says you can locate your farm in live farms in your lead types. Well, let's see if that's true. So under my lead types, here's my lead types. I scroll down, and remember there's the farm utility that I used to grab all those properties. Here's live farm. Well, let's see if it appears in my live farms. It's going to ask me, do I want to manage my farms or do I want to delete them? Well, if I've got some farms that really haven't produced in a long time, I might want to delete those and start over. But I just want to manage my farms and see if my farm showed up. And let's see, I scroll down here. So there's my farm. So see, I did have one WH. So how smart am I to create WH2? Very smart. Anyway, so I've got my farm here. Now again, remember I said you can activate 8 farms? You can create as many as you want. I've got, what, 30 here? And you can see the ones I've activated. So I could basically deactivate these farms. And you see it tells me I've only got 6 activated now. Now I'm going to activate the new farm I created. And I'll do Venice West. And I hit submit. So now it's basically, you know, going to watch those farms, and it's loading. So I'm submitting my results, and it's going to now start watching those farms. It's taken a second because obviously there's a lot of properties in these farms, which is going to give me a chance to take a sip of water. Feel free to take a sip of the beverage of your choice. So now it says change is made. Great, change is made. Now, remember that daily notice I showed you? This is really neat. I can regenerate that daily notice and see what I might have gotten this morning had this been my email. And if you wanted to, you could actually get this notice, go back in, uncheck those farms, check 8 new farms, and regenerate that notice. So it looks like not a whole lot of activity, although there was looks like there was a property sold, which is good to know. So I know there's a property sold in Manhattan Beach. I can go to the neighbors. Hey, your neighbor just sold their property. You're interested in finding out what yours might be worth. So again, so here's my records. Looks like I've got Roseville, 500,000. Hollywood, my $1 million homes, Venice West. So I actually divided Venice into West and East in this case, and then there's my West Hollywood. So that's what my notice would look like today had I been watching those farms. I'm going to close this out. So that's how you create a farm. And again, I could download these into an Excel spreadsheet. Oh, I'm going to show you postcard marketing in a second. So I could create my Avery labels, download it into Excel spreadsheet. I'm not going to do that because it'll probably take a while. I could do postcard marketing. So with this system, you can actually take these results and push them to a couple different companies that will actually create these postcards for you. And then while I'm down here, let me just show you. If I go into postcard marketing and I click on that, you actually have a number of free templates that you can use based on what you're looking for. So, they've got divorce templates, they've got notice of default templates. So there are a number of free templates. So these are house templates. You can do customized templates. There's pricing on that. And then you have full service vendors that will do everything for you. So there's your marketing piece right there. And hopefully by now you've seen that quite a bit of time can be saved by doing this. I want to show you one other thing. This is called a track utility, and I'm going to mention that a little later, but I'll tell you what it is right now. And essentially what I can do with the track utility is I can say, hey, show me I can say, hey, show me every tract or every group of homes in my county, in my city, in my zip code, wherever I decide. Show me every tract of X number of homes with an X% turnover rate. So I could say, show me every block or tract of 100 homes where the turnover rate is 5% or higher or 6% or higher. I can, and in doing that, what I'm doing is basically focusing on areas where there's high turnover. So, and again, with those results, I can download those to an Excel spreadsheet, however you want to do it. But now this track utility tool will help me to focus only on properties, or excuse me, only on areas where there's high turnover, making my job a lot easier. So again, hopefully with this, it's pretty simple. I mean, I've reached the 40-minute mark. I said I'd do a 40-minute presentation. There's a lot more that you can use. I've showed you the basics. If you decide that you want to sign up for this, there's training, and I'll show you that in a second. But now that we've hit the 40-minute mark, and I'm trying to think really quickly, is there any other thing that I haven't shown you that I need to show you? That's pretty much it. So county search, radius search, boundary search, I can do within my county. I can do a city if I wanted to. All my cities in my county are in there. I can do a zip code search. All my zip codes are in there. I showed you selecting your lead types, showed you how to do a filter. Again, with this filter, I can go in, I can do, value, number of bedrooms, number of baths, year built, the lot size, assess value, the purchase date. So a lot of different things I can do with my filter. Again, I showed you this right-hand side. I don't want properties on the MLS. I only want properties with phone numbers or results with phone numbers. So my filter. So that's pretty much it. Now I am going to turn to questions. Let me scroll back up here. Y'all have been really good at asking questions. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. You probably are wondering what this costs. So let me do this. I'm going to get rid of this. Back to my presentation. Oh, a few things, a few tidbits, first of all. You can access ReboGateway through your mobile device. So the neat thing is I'm in Newport Beach, where I rarely get to. I'm surfing the wedge, and I thought, I got some time. I'm going to see if there's anything around here that, I might want a couple doors I might want to knock, or some properties I might want to look at. So I can pull up on my mobile device. Number of awards, HousingWire named Benutech, which is the maker of ReboGateway, one of the top tech companies in 2013, and it was in the top 50 in 2014. It was in the top 25, and I've yet to see what happened in 2015, but I know they've gotten a lot of press. It was featured at Inman Connect as a real estate tech company worth watching. Pricing, here we go. So to sign up for ReboGateway, you get one county. So if you see in parentheses, it includes one county of your choice. You have access to every single property in that county. You can do as many searches as you want in that county for a whole year, download as many results into your Excel spreadsheet or CSV file, upload as many results as you want to your Avery label template. So you have access to every single property in that county. And again, the ability to watch 8,000 properties. I told you could set up farms of 1,000 properties or less, and you get the ability to watch 8,000 properties. So to sign up for this, $224.95 for half a year, $399.95 for a whole year. So obviously, you find one property using ReboGateway, it's paid for itself. With CAR, we do have some specials, and these are webinar specials that we're offering through Friday, close of business. And that is, if you sign up for the annual, you get a quote-unquote free add-on. And what is a free add-on? Well, either an extra county for free. So if you work 2 counties, no-brainer, you can have access to every single property in 2 counties. If you only work 1 county, then the other 2 options might be attractive to you. One is an extra block of 8,000 properties. Now you can, again, set up as many farms you want, but instead of the system watching 8 farms at a time, it'll watch 16 farms at a time. So you'll get an email notification on a daily basis on the system watching 16,000 properties. Or you can get the track utility, which I told you about. Again, show me every block of X number of homes with a turnover rate of X, so that you can focus on just areas where there's high turnover. Now, a question comes up all the time. Which one of these do I choose? Well, if you work 2 counties, the extra county is obviously the choice you want to choose. If you don't work 2 counties, if you only work 1 county, what I've seen the most popular is the track utility, because you already have the ability for the system to watch 8 farms. So if you get the track utility, you have all three options. With that said, now we'll go back to questions. Let's see. Boy, a lot of you participating today. I appreciate that. The one about phone numbers. Again, if you came in late, there's about, I would say, between 20 and 25% of the results pull up phone numbers. Again, you can always go into the filter and say, hey, I only want properties with phone numbers. Are they filtered against do not call? Yes, they are. Filtered against the do not call list. Can you search by the age of owners? Unfortunately, you cannot. That's not a public record. I'm thankful that my age is not a public record because I'm really only 32. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. Are they filtered against the do not call list? Yes, as I mentioned earlier, they are. And you can actually use that as a filter. Show me, omit any records, phone numbers that are on the do not call list. Is there a cost? Yeah, I just went over that. Oh, what if they are on the do not call list? Good question. That's up to you. I've always looked at it like kind of a soliciting sign on a door. When a door says, no solicitors, it's never stopped me from knocking on a door, because my thinking is a couple things. One, a no soliciting sign could have been a sign put up by the former neighbors. I always assume the best. I always look on the bright side. Yeah, I'm sure that sign was put up by the former neighbors. I'm sure these, or former owners, I'm sure these new owners would love to talk with me. Or you can look at it as you're providing a service. I'm not selling anything right now. I'm knocking on your door not to sell you something. I'm knocking on your door to help you out. Remember that result we saw that, there's a divorce filing and a notice of default? They need somebody knocking on their door today to kind of help them through, this tough time. So why not you? How many places does data pull from? Katie Landers, that is a great question. And there are about, my understanding is there's close to 20 different sources, from Craigslist to, the court filings to whatnot. So there are quite a few places that it's pulling these records from. Moving on. Is there a way to populate addresses of properties with life events? Well, in a nutshell, that's what this is doing. You're pulling up life events, and it's giving you the addresses where those life events have taken place. So hopefully that's the answer to the question that you've asked. Moving forward, is ReboGateway only available for a person's specific area or for all of California, the United States? ReboGateway is actually nationwide, and you could do it statewide. They do offer it by county. So if you do if you sign up through CAR, then you can actually get that extra county. If you wanted another county on top of that, it's $180 per year per county. So I don't know how many counties there are in the United States, or excuse me, in California, but obviously that get pretty expensive. And so anyway, that kind of answers that question. So yes, you get an extra free county if you sign up for the year, and then on top of that, it's $180 per county. Is this service free? No, I just went through the pricing. So a couple questions about pricing. How up to date is your list? Again, these records are pulled on a daily basis, so it's up to date information. Drum roll, please. How much? I like that, Lars. Thank you for the laugh. Yeah, so obviously the pricing is on the screen, so you can see that. And next time I'll include a drum roll for Lars. Let's see. Where do the values come from? On a value search. Basically, it's all MLS information that's on there, and obviously, a lot of the stuff, the records have been filed. These are public records, as far as, when it was sold, who owns it, what they paid for it, that sort of thing. Is there a trial period? Tanya, great question. Unfortunately, there's not a trial period, only because you saw how quickly I was able to pull up results. I could do a search. I could search an entire county for all the divorce filings, for all the notice of default, for all the for sale by owners. I could do that in probably about 10 minutes. So, my thinking is this. Again, remember how much time it would take you to knock on every door, to phone every owner, how much it would cost you to send a mailer to every property, and you can see very quickly, hopefully within the last 40 minutes or 50 minutes, how much time this will save you. So, one, there's no trial period because the information is so at your fingertips that it would be easy to grab. Even if they gave you a day, hopefully you'd find a listing. The other thing is, again, based on price, you find one listing. This is or two listings or three listings. Obviously, in one listing or one sale, this has paid for itself for more than a few years. So what I kind of liken it to is what ReboGateway is. It's sort of like you're at an Easter egg hunt, and there's all these Easter eggs, and every Easter egg has anywhere from, $15,000 to $30,000 in it. And you've got a map as to where all these Easter eggs are. This is your map. This is the one that's going to save you time. The question will come up, how do I find out if people in my area are already using ReboGateway? Well, again, kind of like an Easter egg hunt, do I really care how many people have the map that I have? No, I just know that I've got the map, and there are probably more people that don't have the map than do have the map. So I'm not worried about the people that have the map. All I know is I've got a map, and most of these people out there don't. And so I'm going to be, you know, head and shoulders ahead, I guess head and shoulders above. Maybe it's light years ahead. Sorry, we're talking time and height, and I'm mixing my metaphors. But anyway, you know, you're going to be, you know, light years ahead of the game, you know, with a tool like this. So getting back, can the leads be imported directly into a database? Yes, they can. Again, you would want to download those into an Excel spreadsheet. At least that's how I do it. I use Salesforce, so I would download those into an Excel spreadsheet, and I've done it before. It takes literally 5 minutes to download the results and then to upload them into Salesforce. Is monthly pricing available? It is available. I don't advertise it because I don't recommend it. It's $44.95 a month, and the reason why I don't recommend the monthly is, to me, I kind of liken it to a gym membership. You sign up for a month, and next thing you know, 3 weeks has gone by and you haven't used it, and you're like, you know, I've only got another week on this thing. Why take the time to learn it? You know, it's going to be off, you know, done in a month. And then you've just thrown away $44.95. So I recommend doing the 6 months. I mean, we're talking $44.95 versus $224.95, and again, one listing in this thing pays for itself for multiple years. So yes, the answer to the question, there is monthly pricing. It's $44.95. I'm going to put my contact information up there, so you'll have a way to get a hold of me in case you want to do that. Let's see. If I want to order ReboGateway later, do I go directly to ReboGateway or do I find it through CAR? Please come through CAR. We have a little revenue share that we do, and the little bit that we get goes back into helping provide member benefits, so it only benefits you, so that we can provide you with more member benefits if you go through CAR. And what we're going to do is this. Everyone will get an email later today. You will get two things in that email. There will be a link to the recording. Again, this is being recorded. And there will also be an order form. Now, that order form is password protected, and the password will be in the email. Why is it password protected? Because we want your credit card information being secure going from you to us. So just know that by using that password, your credit card information is secure. So again, please go through us. Thank you, Doug, for that question. How do I purchase it now? I'll show you in a second. Thanks, Linda. Can you explain the track utility free option addition is best? Can you explain, again, why track utility free add-on is best to choose if I work just one county? Again, if you work one county, then you already obviously have the county and access to every property in that county. You already have the ability to watch 8 farms at a time of 1,000 properties. So the one thing you're missing if you don't take the track utility is obviously the track utility. And if you grab the track utility, then you've got all 3 options. You've got the county, you've got the, well, not the extra county, but you have a county to work with. You've got your properties that the system will watch for you. So now you've got the track utility. Again, that allows you to find pockets where there's more activity than others, allowing you to do things like, you know, show me every tract, every block of X number of homes, 100 homes or more or whatever, where the turnover rate is X or higher, 5%, 6%, you name it. Are we going to get an email to sign up? Yes, again, that email will come out this afternoon. It'll be in your email box within a few hours, 2 to 3 hours. Let's see, can I share this with another realtor? This pricing is set up such that you know, we're hoping it's a per seat pricing. So can you use it with a team? They monitor the system. If they see a lot of different IP addresses logging in, you'll probably get shut down. If it's one other person, not a problem. quite often people work in teams, so that's not a big deal. You know, if there's two of you working as a team, that's fine. Just know this: you're going to have to use the same login credentials. So you only get one set of login credentials. So only one person can be on the system at a time. So just a heads up on that. How often do you door knock, and what is the most effective time? That is a great question, Ty. I appreciate that. So how often did I door knock? I've never been a realtor, but I want you to know that I have had a job in my life where I door knocked. Number one, I was one of the top door knockers. Number two, I was one of the top salespeople. So I think I can answer that question, because whether you door knock to, you know, looking for a listing or selling a product, door knocking is door knocking. I used to door knock all day long, and because, well, that was my job. But if I had to choose the best time to door knock, I would typically do it in the afternoon and the early evening. I know that for me, I used to be able to hit about 150 doors in a day, and at 5 o'clock I would do what I call a loop back. I would go back to the properties. I have a whole list, and I would just go. I'd write the address down, whether they were home, whether I had a conversation with them, if I got their name, if I got the number. So I would keep a list. I would just write down, you know, 1234 Main Street, not home. 1235 Main Street, not interested, whatever. And then I would go back over my list and see the not homes, and I would hit those. My most effective time was probably about 5:30 till dark. I would never door knock after dark. I would door knock up until, you know, about twilight. Yes, you're going to hit people eating dinner, but, you know, to be honest, very rarely would I do that. Once in a while I would. People might get upset. But my most effective time was in the early evenings before dark, and then on weekends. Weekends. People are home. They're often in their driveways washing their cars. You don't have to knock on a door. So weekends were my best time. I love Saturdays. Saturdays are a great time. And you know what I would do? I might knock doors all day long on a weekday, but Saturday I might say, you know what, I'm doing it for 3 hours. I'm just going to go after it. We're getting close to the end of this, and there's a number more questions. So that was a great question. I think door knocking is awesome. If you can get out and door knock, then you're doing a lot more than a lot of people. When you sign up, you mentioned CAR to get the promotion. Is there a specific link for that? Yes. So I'll show you the link, and you've all seen the pricing. Let me do this. I'm going to have to stop with the questions, but please keep asking them, because I'm going to have to wrap up here. That's why I'm stopping with the questions. Can you 2 agents use an account? Yes, Diana, I just mentioned that. I would say 2 at most. You know, again, you're going to have to share the login credentials so you both can't be out at the same time. I'm going to wrap this up real quickly. Here's the pricing. You saw that. There's my contact information. If you have any questions at all, please, you've got my direct number there. I'm going to get bombarded with phone calls today, so the better way to get through is probably via email, real simple, tomr@car.org. There's the link. So make sure you have the CAR.ReboGateway. Make sure you do the CAR.ReboGateway. I think it also works if you do www.ReboGateway.com/CAR. But to be sure, if you can write this one down real quick, I'm going to give you a second to do that. We have hit the 11 o'clock mark. I thank you, everyone who's stuck around and attended. We had a great turnout today. I want to do a plug real quick, and I'll come back to this slide right here with my contact information. But our next webinar is actually not next Wednesday. It's next Thursday, the 16th at 11 a.m., and it's entitled Keep More Commissions with Tax Deductions. And it's going to be, I'm going to host it, so I'll be introducing our speaker, who is Sandy Botkin. He's a former legal specialist in the Office of the Chief Counsel for the IRS. And he was one of 8 attorneys that was selected to train all new attorneys to the Internal Revenue Service's Corporate Tax Division. So he knows taxes, and he will show you how to make a lot of money by saving a lot of money on taxes. And he's written a book, Lower Your Taxes Big Time. He'll be talking about that. If you want to sign up for this webinar, you can. All of our webinars are listed on our website, car.org, under the education section, and then under webinars. So ca.org, click on the education link, and then click on webinars. Again, don't forget your 12 free hours of continuing education. Remember, everyone gets 12 free hours. If you have not signed up for that, you can sign up under education. Again, 12 free hours of continuing ed, nothing better than free. And again, there's my contact information. There's the link to the site, car.ReboGateway.com. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to email me. That's probably the easiest way to get through today. Tomorrow, you can call me, but you can call me today. So anyway, thanks again, everyone, for being here. Again, please be sure to sign up for our webinar next week and your 12 free hours of continuing education classes. Again, my name is Tom Reitman. I hope you've enjoyed the webinar and gotten a lot out of it. And I hope you use this tool. Again, this will save you, not only save you a lot of time, but it'll make you a lot of money. So thank you. Much success to you. And have a great rest of the week and a great weekend. Bye-bye.